All right.
Wait, who am I waiting for?
When you go?
Well, I thought I was going to have all these people up here to put together like a T-shirt going out Pat, and I could say the great things about Pat that it reminded me of, but apparently those people aren't here, so... I don't think it's awkward. Anyway, my name's, for those of you who don't know me, my name is John Holmes Twomey. For some of you from the 70s, bring up a couple, different things. But for those of us from like the 90s or the 80s, it's just a name. I have known Pat since, I think I've known Pat for 15 years. 96. Yeah, which in my math is 15 years. First time I met Pat, I can tell you exactly what he had eaten, which was some type of rice and pea thing, because it ended up in my antique shirt in the room that I was sharing with Wes, which some of you may have thought was a little weird that we both had mattresses on the top floor of a room at Deke, but I assure you it was purely for the economics. So anyway, that's how I first met Pat, and I'm here tonight to tell you a lot of great things about Pat, and I am thinking about these things. Pat's a great golfer. He has great hair. Obviously, I do not have great hair. Pat has great hair. But anyway, let me tell you one thing about this toast. This toast is, like most things that Pat does, this is a high concept toast. So, for those of you who were not English majors in college, I am going to tell you the theme of this toast, which is a sweater. So, as you listen to me ramble on and you think, what the fuck is him? Come back to the theme, which is a sweater. And much like Harry Potter, I will come back and tell you about the sweater, like they tell you about the broom or the magic or something like that. So, okay, here we are. Here we are tonight. I look out here, I see a lot of familiar faces. I don't know either of these people here. I'm glad that they're here. I'm glad that you are here. Let me tell you a story about Pat. If any of you know Pat well, you know that Pat buys quality. He does not shop at Marshalls or TJ Maxx. He shops at Polo. All right? So, one of the first times that Pat went and met the O'Connor family, he wore a sweater that, as an Irishman, I know it makes a good impression when someone wears a Donegal sweater. Is that not true, Pat? We're not going to listen to what Pat has to say about that. This is a story that I'm telling. So, Pat Burchett. Well, first of all, let's talk about the name Burchett. Okay. Does that sound French to any of you all?
No.
To me, it sounds vaguely French. And I've spent some time in France, and I think it means little bird in French. And today I was talking on the golf course to some people, and I was saying, what sort of name is Mara O'Connor? And some people told me it's probably Irish. Okay. So we've got some Irish and some French people working here, and is everybody okay with that? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So here we are. Yes. So the thing that I was saying was that Pat was wearing a sweater the first time he met the O'Connors. And it was a sweater he bought at Polo, and fast forward 4 years. Pat calls me and he says, I just got engaged and I am so ecstatic. I'm 2 doors down from him because I am at my girlfriend's house. Right now. 2 doors down. Run over and I see Pat wearing a completely different sweater that was given to him by the O'Connor family, which to me symbolizes something. And I'm going to try and explain that to you. Laughing, but wait till the end. So,
where's that at?
We started off with Pat. A sweater. A Donegal sweater from Polo.
John buy the sweater. Oh God, drinking water.
I can wait until you guys get this. Sweater from Polo. 4 years later, go over his engagement. Pat is wearing a tight-fitting Donegal sweater that he has gotten from the O'Connor family. Which is true, which I have confirmed with Carol when I bought it. Yes. So, in case any of you guys don't understand exactly what I'm trying to say, it's that A, you know, sometimes wedding toasts don't go the way you. But when they do, as an Irishman, you have to dig in to the peat moss and come out with something else. Which is that old sweater that Pat used to wear did not fit that well. And this new sweater that Pat was wearing fit.
Oh.
And this is the metaphor that I was going for tonight, which I was too drunk to tell you about at the beginning. But you should have listened to the metaphor earlier. So here it is. Marriage is a Donegal sweater. Sometimes it might be a little too tight. Sometimes it might be a little too hot. But you can't take it off. And it's with you for the rest of your life. And raise your glasses to Pat Mark. Like any good story, there is a denouement. And I was talking to this Irish guy who married my cousin a week ago, and he told me the true story about the Donegal sweater, which is that when the Irish fishermen would drown when they were fishing, the reason they wore the Donegal sweater. No, this is all true. You guys are seriously killing me. This is true. I want you guys all to listen to this. Is everybody listening?
Yes.
This is the denouement. So, connect this back to the sweater. So, the reason Donegal sweaters have these patterns on them is because when the Irish fishermen drown, that's how they identify the body. It's when they drag the body out. So, what I would say to Pat tomorrow is to both of you, Both of you.
So,
Stay on the shore.